Hello and welcome to Midday Prime. Over the next 1 hour, we'll bring you all the stories and updates from India and the world. We will update you about the happenings in the world of business and sports. Our top focus would be on the aftermath of Cyclone Taukte and the search, relief, rescue and restoration work underway in Gujarat and Maharashtra. But first up, the big news at this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi conducts aerial survey of cyclone-stricken Gujarat and Diu to review the damage and the situation. Prime Minister to also hold a review meeting in Ahmedabad later today. Relief and restoration works in progress in Gujarat and Diu as the cyclone Taukte weakens into a depression. INS Beas, Betwa and Teg joined the search and rescue operations for barge P305 off Mumbai. 184 personnel rescued so far. India records 2.67 lakh daily cases on Tuesday, less than 3 lakh new cases for the third consecutive day. Over 3.89 lakh people recovered in the last 24 hours. Vaccination coverage exceeds 18.58 crore, including over 64 lakh beneficiaries in the 18 to 44 age group. Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan to hold a meeting with health ministers of West Bengal and 8 northeastern states. Health Minister will review the COVID situation and progress of vaccination drives in these states. In a blow to the opposition, BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra exposes the author of toolkit being used by the Congress to spread rumours and misinformation about the pandemic and Central Vista project. Says social media profiles of author Soumya Verma reveal her connection with the Congress party. In international news, US House of Representatives pass hate crime bill to combat violence against Asian Americans in the wake of COVID-19. The legislation will now head to President Joe Biden for his signature. US House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi calls for a US diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. Pelosi criticizes China for human rights abuses, says global leaders who attend would lose their moral authority. Spain deployed troops to patrol Ceuta, the border with Morocco, after around 8,000 migrants enter the enclave. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says the sudden influx of migrants is a serious crisis for Europe. Let's begin the show with the big news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Gujarat and Diu to personally review the situation and damage due to Cyclone Taukte. The Prime Minister is conducting an aerial survey from Bhavnagar to Diu, Una, Jafrabad and Mahuva. The Prime Minister will also hold a review meeting at Ahmedabad after the aerial survey. And for more, we are joined by correspondent Meghna from Ahmedabad. Meghna, what's the update that you can share with us with regard to Prime Minister's aerial survey? Also, tell us about the latest with regard to the restoration and relief work which is currently underway and the kind of damage that these coastal districts of Gujarat have sustained because of the cyclone.
Absolutely, Munmun. Currently, as you already told, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is conducting an aerial survey, and he arrived at Bhavnagar, which is one of the coastal districts in Gujarat. He arrived there. He met the collector. He also met the mayor there. They were there to receive him, and after that, he went onward for his aerial survey, where he's going to do an aerial survey of the areas around the coastline till Diu. So there's going to be Una. Una is one of the places which was very heavily affected, and that is in the Gir Somnath district. There's also Jafrabad and other places which are, in the districts of Amreli, which have been very highly impacted. So basically the coastal districts have been very highly impacted, and also the Union Territory of Diu. So Diu is also very highly impacted. We had seen visuals of army columns that were helping, people, giving, doing relief efforts, rescue operations to actually, move people to safer places. And also after that in Diu as well, the poles that had fallen, the trees that had got uprooted, all these things were also being removed, and there are several more things that are still to get restored. So what basically Prime Minister Narendra Modi will do in the aerial survey, he will come back to Bhavnagar, and after that he will come to Ahmedabad. I am currently here in Ahmedabad, where he is going to hold a very high level meeting, and this is the place basically. So I'm here in the airport premises of Ahmedabad, and this is the place basically from where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to hold the very high level meeting, which will have the officials from the Gujarat government, which is expected to have other officials from the affected areas, and also the Chief Minister of Gujarat. So it is going to be a very high level meeting that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to hold here at the Ahmedabad airport. This is one of the parts of the Ahmedabad airport where this meeting is going to be. And what we have been told and what we get to hear is the meeting will last about an hour. So that means it is going to be an extensive meeting, which will obviously have an entire assessment, quite a rough but an entire assessment about the damage that has happened across several coastal districts in particular, but not only coastal districts, also districts in the central of Gujarat like Ahmedabad have also been impacted, because yesterday we saw that the cyclone had struck Ahmedabad as well, because there were very fast winds blowing in Ahmedabad, trees had got uprooted, lot of waterlogging, and there were several places where we could have seen wires which had broken, and so all these things had happened, but the administration was on its toes. The municipal corporation also did a great job, and in the morning quite a number of things have been restored back to normal. But this is not the case in the coastal areas, because there has been a lot of damage. We are being told that around 40,000 to 50,000 trees have got uprooted, about 1,000 to 1,500, somewhere between that, the count of electricity poles that have fallen. There are several villages where the electricity has not yet been restored. The efforts are continuously going on, because it's not about the restoration of electricity, but it's also about reaching to those places. Though over 500 roads have become motorable now, because the uprooted trees and the debris which was there, that has been removed from the roads to make it motorable, but there are still a number of roads that are blocked, and the NDRF, the rapid response team, the SDRF, the home guards and the local administration, the local police are on their toes and trying to mitigate all the impact that has happened there, so that life could turn back to normal. But not, and to tell you the death count, 13 people have died, but it is assumed that the death toll might also sadly rise, because because yesterday the cyclone had passed from Gujarat, but the impact that it is still being assessed, because not only in central of Gujarat or the coastal areas, even the southern part of Gujarat, places like Umargam, which lie in the Valsad district of South Gujarat, there has been 14 inches of rain showers. So we can see that incessant rainfall has also impacted a number of places. There were tin sheets that were flying, there were glass panels that had broken, and out of the 13 deaths that had happened, many of these deaths have happened due to accidents caused by the cyclone. So,
right.
And also, not only that, the ships that were anchored on the ports that were anchored on the shore, those have also suffered a lot of damage. The crops have suffered a lot of damage, especially it is the season for mangoes. The farmers, the cultivators had to bear a lot of loss. So all of that is going to be assessed. We are being told Amreli, which is where Jafrabad is basically where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also going to hold an aerial survey. So at this place also around Amreli, 500 parrots have been found dead, their corpses have been found, and the count is still going on. So that means the animals, the birds have also been severely impacted by the blow of cyclone. So it's not just, the loss of infrastructure, but it's also loss of, animal life and human life as well. Though the human life loss has been averted quite a lot, because over 2 lakh people had been evacuated and, sent to different safer places, shelter homes. But if not for that, there would have been a massive destruction which that cyclone could have brought. But that was averted because of the quick response from the state administration that took place, and the entire planning that was taking place from past 1 week.
Right, Meghna, is the aerial survey and also the review meeting a continuation of the close monitoring that we've seen by the center of the cyclone, with Prime Minister talking to Chief Ministers of affected states and Home Minister also being in close touch?
Yes, absolutely. This meeting is going to be extremely important, because this is not only going to assess the damage, but it's also going to assess how to compensate, because not only the fishermen, not only the farmers, the cultivators, but also the people who are into animal husbandry and have cattle, they have also been impacted. There are several, over the last count that we got, there are over 16,500 kacha houses or, huts that have been destroyed completely due to the cyclone. So definitely all that impact and how to provide relief to these people, that is definitely one point that is going to be discussed, because these are hard times. These are times we are living in a pandemic. So definitely the relief has to be quick and prompt. But the only thing that, the thing that the state government continued is that there was no hassle to any COVID positive patient in around coastal areas, because there was no electricity snap in COVID or non-COVID hospitals, and wherever there was a snap, the electricity was restored because there was power backup as well. So definitely restoring electricity at this point of time becomes very important, so that people can communicate. But the rapid response teams, their dynamic redeployment to places, the way the cyclone was moving, the redeployment, the officials were redeploying their teams from lesser affected areas to higher or more affected areas. So this all planning has definitely worked, but the impact assessment that is going to happen today is very crucial and important for the people who have been impacted, and who are actually dealing with the aftermath of the cyclone, the after effects that the cyclone has left, the remnants that the cyclone has left, the impacts that it has left, especially in the coastal areas. Definitely for fishermen it's extremely important, because a number of boats have also been damaged, though the good thing is that there is no loss of lives. And also a very important thing I would like to tell you here, Munmun, is that the state government has told, because the administration is completely, absorbed in dealing with the relief operations, the vaccination, the government will intimate the date from when the vaccination of COVID will start. So, and the night curfew is still continuing. It had been, extended for 3 days, and there's also going to be a word that would come from the government for this as well. So all these things are being put in place.
We are looking at pictures now, Meghna, of Prime Minister Narendra Modi conducting the aerial survey of the worst affected coastal districts. The Prime Minister there taking a first-hand view of the kind of damage that has been caused by Cyclone Taukte in the worst affected coastal districts of Gujarat. Meghna, we can see the Prime Minister making a first-hand assessment of the kind of damage that has been caused by the cyclone, also looking at various maps including satellite imagery of the area. This will help give him a clear picture and hence help him understand the situation as it stands now for impact assessment and for compensation announcement later.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Munmun. This is not. This is the time when Prime Minister Narendra Modi's experience as the Chief Minister will come very useful, because he knows the area of Saurashtra, the coastal areas of Gujarat, from at the back of his hand. So definitely, him assessing the entire situation, because cyclones for Gujarat is not new. There have been a few years where we had a rough time at the Arabian Sea. So these things are not new. Last year also, last to last year also, we had Cyclone Vayu, we had Maha, we had Kyar, we had Oki. So there are several cyclones that have battered the state of Gujarat, but this was an extremely severe cyclonic storm. Though the loss of lives, there has been no major destruction, but the destruction that it has caused to the, to the atmosphere around, to the places around, that is definitely going to take time to get back to normal. But as we see that the Prime Minister is currently doing an aerial survey, and after that, once he comes here, this is the exact place. I would like to show it to you again. This is the place where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to hold his very high-level meeting with the officials. Once he completes his aerial survey, gets back to Bhavnagar, and then comes to Ahmedabad, he is going to hold the very important meeting, which is going to be very crucial for those people who have been impacted by the cyclone. And after that, we are expecting, after the Prime Minister leaves from this place, after his meeting, about 1 hour meeting is going to be, we are being told that this would be a meeting of about an hour, or it can even exceed an hour. So after this meeting, we would like to get some words from the officials about what, because there are several hopes that now are on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that how does he assess the situation. And basically, there are several farmers, there are cultivators who have had huge losses. There are cattle rearers who have had huge losses. So the Animal Husbandry Department is also on its toes. The other departments are also on their toes to assess the losses. But it has just, from Ahmedabad, the cyclone has just from Gujarat, the cyclone has just left yesterday. So obviously the assessment is also going to take a long time, because Gujarat has the longest coastline. It is about 1,600 kilometers. So the area that it has impacted, and not only the areas around Gir, or be it Somnath, be it Diu, be it Amreli, be it Bhavnagar, not only those areas, but also some areas where in-season rainfall has been recorded around Surat or Valsad or Navsari, if we can go to the south of Gujarat. All those areas have also been impacted through in-season rainfalls. Not only that, Saurashtra, where Rajkot is, Morbi, all these areas have also been impacted. I also spoke to some people around Idar, Sabarkantha, Arvalli. Those places have also received very heavy winds, very fast winds, and also incessant rainfall, very heavy rainfall has been witnessed there as well. So definitely this assessment, a lot lies on this assessment that the Prime Minister is currently doing, and we see maps and satellite images in his hands. So definitely, because he doesn't need anybody to tell him what area and which area this is, he knows it at the back of his hand, especially when it comes to Gujarat. And it was it comes like a deja vu, not in a good manner. But last year also, if I'm not wrong, around this time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had conducted, just a few days ahead or back around this time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had conducted an aerial survey for Cyclone Amphan in Bengal and Odisha. So that was also around this time, but that was Bay of Bengal, and this time it's the havoc caused by the Arabian Sea. Though we are still, there are still, the numbers are increasing when we see the trees uprooted, the electricity poles that have damaged, got damaged, the substations that have got damaged. So all these things are being put into account, and when the officials, the district officials are going to put it, assess the entire situation, evaluate it, after that the state government has also assured the people that they are going to get help and support from the government. And when I was there day before yesterday, which was on the 17th, when the cyclone was about to strike, when the cyclone had stricken between Una and Diu, so at that point of time, the State Emergency Operations Center was operational. From past 2 days, people were already there 24/7. There were officials, highest of officials, who were in the war room and were coordinating with each and every district through hotlines. There were SOS calls made, and I must also, give some credit to the ambulances, because the ambulances had a real hard time. We spoke to the ambulance representatives, and they were of the thought that we had a really hard time reaching to SOS calls, because there were several trees that were uprooted. Several people, the rapid response teams, and several people around had, the local administration, local police had also helped the NDRF teams to actually remove the debris or the fallen trees from the roads, so that ambulances passengers can pass through. There were pregnancy emergencies. There were emergencies where people had got hurt or had, fallen unconscious or had, hurt themselves, fallen somewhere, or something had hit them. So all these things had happened. So because of that, ambulances had a really hard time. There were just in 8 to 10 hours of the cyclone making the landfall, there were over 400 calls that had come to 108. So definitely, people were on their toes. There were ICU on wheels. About 174 ICU on wheels were also deployed. So definitely that, that paints a picture that how prepared the administration was. That is the reason we could still mitigate, the impact, and the loss of lives was not that huge, because when we see that, when we see the earlier very extremely severe cyclones, or we can call them super cyclones, there has been a huge loss of life during those cyclones. But about 2 lakh people getting evacuated is a huge number, and the administration has been able to do that. But definitely the impact assessment will be on the loss of whatever the loss that people have suffered, and especially during COVID times, this the compensation and the support for these losses would definitely count.
Right, Meghna, when the cyclone struck, it struck amid the COVID-19 pandemic, and you said that over 2 lakh people were evacuated from Gujarat coastal districts ahead of the cyclone making landfall. Is the fact that COVID-19 pandemic is still very much a reality and there are restrictions in place in different parts of Gujarat also going to play on the mind of the officials and Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Chief Minister when they make announcements going forward?
Undoubtedly, this is going to be one very important thing that is going to be on the mind of the state administration, and also I guess it must be discussed in the meeting when it will be held here near the Ahmedabad airport today. Because when we see that this is a double trouble for the state government when they had the pandemic as well, and when after a lot of hard work the numbers started decreasing here in Gujarat, we suddenly get to know that there is a cyclone, and not only a cyclone but an extremely severe cyclonic storm that is going to strike our coast. So this becomes very crucial that after this has now passed, the time has passed and we have braved the storm. After that, how do we reach out to people? How do we obey the COVID protocols? How do we see that how do we shift people from one place to the other, because we have evacuated people, and after some time they definitely have to go back to their places. So before evacuation, the best thing that was done was at several places there was rapid antigen test done for people before moving them to shelter homes. So there were precautions taken by the government, but definitely we know it is a pandemic, and the virus cannot be trusted. So we definitely have to see that how the government, the administration, not only the state administration at large but also the district administrations have to plan that how will they move forward with this process. And as I told you that for the next few days the government has told that it will intimate to the people that when the vaccination process will start, because the entire state administration and the highest of officials are busy in actually mitigating the impacts and also assessing the situation on the ground where it has happened. So, and also I want to mention one thing, that Asiatic lions had also been, taken to safer places, which is extremely important in Gir. In Gir, Asiatic lions had been taken to safer places. And another important thing is that the mangoes have also, the mango farmers, the cultivators had now got to bear huge losses, because this was their season and they will definitely be facing a lot of losses. About more than 500 parrots were found in Amreli. So Amreli is one of the worst affected districts, as we can call, along the coastline. So, and Amreli city also currently there is no electricity, as I was told a few hours ago, and the restoration work, though it is on, but still it would definitely take time for it to get restored. Thousands of huts, thousands of structures have got damaged. So all of this definitely will take time, but the relief efforts, how they are going to be sent to people, how the relief efforts are going to be done, because these are different times. These are not the normal times of the normal times. These are times of the pandemic. So definitely the relief efforts have to have something different, some additional things, so that the COVID protocols can also be followed. The cases don't surge anymore, because after a lot of efforts, the Gujarat government has been able, after night curfews, several restrictions in place, after that the Gujarat government has been able to bring down the cases. So now after that, when the relief efforts are going, nor the administration nor the state government would like that the cases would rise when people will not follow the COVID protocols. So all of that will be definitely discussed, and we were later in the evening, we are expecting that after the Prime Minister conducts his meeting, which is going to last for an hour, it is expected. After that, we will definitely get a word from the administration on how they have planned it, or probably they would, after the meeting, they would create a blueprint on how to go forward with the relief efforts, because at this point of time, it is extremely important.
Right, Meghna, like you said, Gujarat has braved natural disasters, including cyclones in the past as well. Will that experience come in handy? Because we saw how evacuation was extremely swift this time around before the cyclone made landfall. Do you expect that to be reflected in the post-landfall relief, rescue, rehabilitation and restoration work?
Absolutely, that will definitely come in handy, and that did come in handy till now, because when we see that the efforts that had been put in by the administration, to actually mitigate the impact of the cyclone, or earlier when we see that the preparations at the State Emergency Operations Center had started a week ago. Before 3-4 days, when I was there, there had been people who were actually having a list of district collectors, the highest officials of the district, talking to them over the call, asking them how many people have been rescued, how many people have been shifted to safer places, how many shelter homes are being built, and not only in the coastal areas but in Ahmedabad as well. There had been shelter homes that had been built. Ahmedabad is not a coastal district, but there were shelter homes that were built. Rapid antigen tests were done. Several people, and not only that, food is being provided to them, ration is being provided to them. So, all the efforts that the government has already had is, obviously has come in handy when we actually talk about that the experience that the state administration has in combating cyclones. Be it when I was last time when I was in Diu during the cyclone Vayu, though it had not made a landfall and it had become weak before coming to the shore, but we could see that the state administration had taken, the Diu administration had taken, the Union Territory administration had taken a lot of efforts. The NDRF teams were seen everywhere, and they were ready for the people. And the very important thing that worked in favor this time was the dynamic redeployment, because as the cyclone changed its path, as the cyclone moved forward, when the hotlines were working, the administrators, the district officials were talking to the people at the war room, and where the highest officials, the officials of the level of the chief secretary and additional chief secretary were present at the war room. They were, and the highest officials of the NDRF were also present, where they used to actually call their officials and used to ask them to go to different places where there is more impact. And when the cyclone was making a landfall, at that point of time also several calls had come. I spoke to the Chief Minister that night as well, when the Chief Minister was also there at the war room for about 4 to 5 hours when the landfall was actually happening. The process was still on. So he also received a few calls, made a few calls to check on how the entire system is working. Is everything fine? How is there any news of very major loss or major disaster that has happened, major misadventure that had happened? So all of that was definitely being done, and this experience has definitely come in handy, but definitely it would be important and extremely important to see, and people of Gujarat and especially the coastal areas are waiting that how will the rehabilitation, restoration, relief efforts now start, because it's just yesterday that the storm has passed from Gujarat, the cyclone has passed from Gujarat, and now the rehabilitation, restoration efforts will start. And what also important is how how the state government is going to reach out to the people, taking these efforts to them or taking the relief efforts to them. So all of this is definitely, people are waiting to see. But the state government, yesterday, Chief Minister Vijay Rupani has said that he will definitely, he assures the people of Gujarat that whoever has suffered a loss will get support from the government. So how and when and what kind of assessment is done, that is also extremely important. And we get to also know, sadly, that the death count can also rise, because now yesterday only it has passed, and the teams are on ground now to actually see what kind of losses have happened and what how many lives have been lost. So we get to know that the count can also increase, sadly, but the entire numbers will definitely be coming by late evening, or maybe we'll get an update tomorrow as well, because today entire day, the day will go in assessment, and the assessment is huge, because as I already told you, it's a huge coastline, for the official and the administration also to go through and assess every bit and help out the people in need.
Right, Meghna, stay with us. So let's bring our viewers up to speed with what's happening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is conducting an aerial survey of the worst affected coastal districts of Gujarat in the aftermath of the cyclone that hit on Monday evening. Also, Prime Minister is accompanied by Chief Minister Vijay Rupani. Prime Minister taking a first-hand look for a first-hand account of the kind of damage that has been caused by the cyclone. This will be followed by a review meeting that will take place in Ahmedabad, where our correspondent Meghna Dev is stationed. And that review meeting is expected to last for around an hour, as per our correspondent. Meghna, district-wise, can you recap for us the kind of damage that has been caused in the aftermath of the cyclone and the restoration work which is currently underway?
Yes, absolutely, Munmun. The restoration work definitely will take some time, but though to complete it will take some time, but it has already started. It had already started the night when the landfall process had completed and the cyclone had moved forward. But, to actually assess it completely and to actually have, the complete data and evaluated, thing that the government can share it with us, it will definitely take some time, because, several officials had just been able to go out, venture out and see what sort of damages have happened. So though the response teams were there and several officials were also there on the ground, but evaluation will definitely take some time, and that is what people are waiting for, that the things can be evaluated, especially for the fishermen in the coastal areas, because I get to know that several boats have also been damaged, though they were anchored at the shore, but because the blow of the cyclone was so hard that there were several boats that were damaged as well. So, and definitely for the farmers, as I told you, bajra and all such crops have also faced some losses. We had seen some banana plantations also facing losses. So, the entire area of Saurashtra has definitely, had a big blow of this cyclone. Not in the matter of loss of lives in major, but definitely in matter of the crops getting destroyed, the cattle dying, and the birds dying. Their birds and cattle have died. Quite a number of birds and cattle have died, but the number is not yet with us. The state administration has told us that they will definitely share the numbers when the assessments will be done. The district officials are on their toes, and when we saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi before conducting his air survey, which the aerial survey, which he is currently doing right now, before that he landed at Bhavnagar, and he also met the Bhavnagar mayor. He met the district collector there. There were chief secretary, additional chief secretary present, along with Chief Minister Vijay Rupani. So all these people are the key people, especially the mayor or the collector for Bhavnagar. They are the key people, the highest officials. Especially in matter of the collector, he's one of the highest officials in the district. So definitely meeting him, taking a stock of the situation. He must have spoken to him and taken the stock of the situation, that how the things are going there, because Mahua is one of the affected places, and Mahua lies in Bhavnagar. Jafrabad, as is being told, that Prime Minister is also conducting a survey of Jafrabad. So Jafrabad is in the Amreli district. Una is there in the Somnath district, and especially for Somnath, Veraval, and the places in Somnath, they are always facing the brunt of the whenever the cyclone strikes. And when we talk about the Union Territory of Diu, that place also suffers the brunt of the cyclones whenever it arrives. So these are the places where people have an idea of how to, protect themselves when there is, when there is a cyclone about to strike. So these people are experienced people, because a number of times, the Arabian Sea has become really rough for their lives. So definitely they know it, but the state government's, very quick responses had definitely managed to save a lot of lives, because, a few days ago when we were told, a couple of days ago when we were told that there were 2 lakh people evacuated, that's a huge number. So definitely that has all come in handy. All eyes are now on the rescue, not on the relief, rehabilitation, restoration efforts. Electricity is trying to be restored as soon as possible. At several places it has been restored. The blockade in the roads have also been removed. Several roads have been made motorable. Even the Western Railway has not stopped its work and has transported oxygen to different places wherever it was designated to. So all these efforts have happened, but on the backdrop of all of it, the important what lies for the citizens of Gujarat is that how the relief happens. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi just coming a day after, it's still cloudy in Ahmedabad. If I can show you, it's still cloudy. Since morning the sun is not out, so it's still cloudy in Ahmedabad, and he's still, just yesterday the cyclone, passed the state of Gujarat, and immediately today Prime Minister Narendra Modi makes an immediate plan to come and take an aerial survey and also hold a meeting with the highest officials. Speaks volumes of how important for him the relief and the restoration or rehabilitation efforts are.
Absolutely. So the centre has been closely monitoring the situation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, accompanied by Chief Minister Vijay Rupani, conducting an aerial survey of the worst affected coastal districts of Gujarat in the aftermath of Cyclone Taukte. Thank you, Meghna. We'll keep coming back to you for more updates. Let's move on now. Meanwhile, relief and restoration works are in progress in Gujarat, and due as Cyclone Taukte weakens into a depression. In a massive search and rescue operation, the Indian Navy has rescued a total of 184 personnel so far of Mumbai from barge P305. INS Kochi has meanwhile returned to the Mumbai harbour with rescuees.
These operations are currently still ongoing. We have a large number of naval units on site. Number of naval ships, aircraft are in the area, still conducting operations for search and rescue. My ship, of course, has just come back with a large number of people on board. About 184 people have been recovered from sea, of which 125 are on board my ship.
INS Teg, INS Betwa, INS Beas, P8I aircraft and Seeking Hellos are meanwhile continuing with search and rescue operations. Offshore support vessels Samudra Sevak and SV Cheel are also connected to maneuver Sagar Bhushan. 196 personnel on SS3 and 101 personnel on Sagar Bhushan are safe. Offshore vessels hired by ONGC and SCI are towing them to safety. The Indian Coast Guard has said that a total of 73 people are still missing in the sea, and search operations are going on to trace and rescue the crew members.
इस साइक्लोन के कारण जितना कुछ बुरा हो सकता था, 8,000 से ज़्यादा लोग बाहर थे. अभी सिर्फ हम लोग 73 लोगों को ढूंढ रहे हैं, वो भी सिर्फ ऑफशोर डेवलपमेंट एरिया में. बाकी सब जगह कोई एक रिपोर्टिंग में नहीं है और काफ़ी फोर्सेस लगे हुए हैं. हमें पूरी उम्मीद है, हौसला हमारा बुलंद है कि लोग जरूर मिल जाएंगे जो लाइफ जैकेट पहन के वहाँ पर हैं.
And now correspondent Shama Mishra is joining us from Mumbai. Shama, what's the latest on the naval operations that are taking place off Mumbai coast for search operations and rescue?
We know for the fact that 4 barges had been met with an accident where the anchors had broken or the barges had gone aground. But for now, we are getting to know that the rest of the 3s, that is the SS3, then Gal Constructor, and also the Sagar Bhushan. All the people on these barges have been rescued safely. 137 were on Gal Constructor. They have been rescued safely. Some of them had been brought yesterday to Mumbai shore, and some of them were taken to Palghar. Other than that, we also know for the fact that 196 on the SS3 and 101 crew on the Sagar Bhushan, they have also been located and they have been rescued safely. But the only barge that had met with a very bad, we could say, unfortunate instance, that is Papa 305, P305, where 269 people were on board, and of that, the latest is 188 survivors have been rescued, and there's also been the fact that 18 brave nature victims have been recovered. That we know for the fact that these are the ones who lost their lives. Apart from that, we also know, you've already mentioned that INS Kolkata, Bias, Teg, Betwa, these are already compressed in action for the search and rescue operations. Even the helicopters have been pressed into action. They have been braving all the difficult situation at sea, because the people who had been brought back to Mumbai coast through INS Kochi, we had gone there, and 125 survivors had been brought by INS Kochi, and we spoke to them about their ordeal, and they were all very thankful to the Indian Navy, Indian Coast Guard, about how they rescued them in very difficult situation. Because 2 days back we did see that the cyclone Tauktae had made a very bad impact, not just on land but also at sea. And if we imagine how difficult the sea conditions would have been, it's like 7 to 9 meters high the waves were rising, and in that these people who were stuck at sea, stuck for more than 12 hours, they were actually waiting for the help that could come their way. And Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard have, through their search and rescue operations, rescued 188 people. We also getting to know that these rescue operations, search and rescue operations, would continue, and till the people, either the dead bodies or the people, survivors,
Shyama, thanks
if they are
a lot for that. Let's now go across to a press conference being addressed by Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
The ceremonies and events around Jerusalem Day and the court proceedings in Sheikh Jarrah to incite riots, to incite violence in order to further their political goals. I have to say that we didn't expect quite a conflagration, but we knew what they were doing, and therefore what we did was everything in our power to de-escalate the potential conflict around Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. And we did 3 quite unprecedented things. The first thing is we asked the Israeli court on Sheikh Jarrah to postpone the proceedings. That's never been done before in Israel's history. And as you know, the court doesn't do my bidding. You can laugh. But we did ask them, I did ask them to postpone these proceedings in order to withhold this propaganda instrument from Hamas. Second thing we did was reroute the parade, the traditional parade that we've had for over half a century in Jerusalem, on Jerusalem Day. And again, I took that decision. These are difficult decisions politically. They're not simple decisions, but we did them anyway. And the third was equally difficult, even more difficult, which is to say to Jewish visitors at the Temple Mount, don't go on certain days, and they didn't, and allow Muslim worshippers, about 85,000 in a typical day, during the Ramadan, to visit the Temple Mount. This didn't help a whit. The propaganda continued, the lies continued, the incitement continued, and of course this was followed by the unprecedented rocketing of Jerusalem on the Jerusalem Day. Since then, we've had almost 4,000 rockets fired from Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza against us. By the way, about a quarter, almost 1,000 rockets falling into Gaza itself. So Hamas is not merely targeting our civilians, they couldn't care less if they fire on their own people.
There you heard Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu describing the reasons behind Israel's airstrikes into Gaza. Back home now, after causing widespread rain in Gujarat, the cyclone is expected to bring showers in many other states also, including Rajasthan, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi. Due to its interaction with the western disturbance, IMD has predicted light to moderate rainfall at most places, with heavy to very heavy falls at isolated places over East Rajasthan. The interaction of the remnant low pressure system with a trough in westerlies associated with the western disturbance is very likely to cause a light to moderate rainfall at most places, with heavy to very heavy falls and extremely heavy falls at isolated places over Uttarakhand. Heavy to very heavy rainfall at isolated places took place over Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Chandigarh and Delhi, western Uttar Pradesh, and heavy rainfall at isolated places over Punjab, East Uttar Pradesh, North Madhya Pradesh and West Rajasthan has been forecast during the next 18 hours. According to the Met Department, a low pressure area is very likely to form over North Andaman Sea and adjoining East Central Bay of Bengal around 22nd May. It is very likely to intensify gradually into a cyclonic storm during the subsequent 72 hours. It is very likely to move northwestwards and reach West Bengal, Odisha coast around 26th May evening. And now Tapas Bhattacharya, correspondent, is joining us. Tapas, what's the status as far as the strength of Cyclone Tauktae is concerned? It had weakened, in fact, into a depression. Is it weakening further into a well-marked low pressure area?
That's right. It is expected to weaken further in the days to come. But the problem is that in the northwestern country, in the northern part of the country, there is a trough of western disturbance that is currently going on. So there is strong western disturbance, and in conjunction with the this particular depression right now that is going on, it is creating a lot of rainfall activity and wind activity of almost 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. But mainly the issue is about the rainfall activity, especially right from Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh to eastern UP to almost all of Delhi, Punjab, Haryana to almost western part of the Madhya Pradesh. So in that sense, there is a huge trough that is going on of western disturbance, and along with the this particular depression, which is already going towards Rajasthan. This particular situation has created a rainfall situation where almost orange alert has been declared in Delhi NCR, where so far a lot of rainfall activity from yesterday night onwards has been taking place. It's constant rain. It's rainfall activity is going on, and just behind me also see there's the rainfall is going on, and it has not stopped for a long time now. And it is expected that the whole day, and in fact midday tomorrow, this particular rainfall activity will continue, though the intensity will gradually weaken by today evening and tonight. So one expects that the IMD, which has for today, which has given a orange warning for Delhi NCR and neighboring states, has will be which is expected to review that and will come out with a yellow warning for tomorrow. But in a couple of days, by tomorrow, this particular situation is going to weaken further. The second part that you mentioned, Munbun, is that there is a low pressure that is currently being experienced, and it is expected that another another cyclonic circulation can take place. Right now, it is expected that what you call a low pressure area around Bay of Bengal will come into force around the 22nd of May, and in another 72 hours, it is expected in the next 72 hours from 22nd of May, it is expected to become a cyclonic cyclonic storm, and it is expected to reach the coast of Bengal and Orissa by around 26th of evening, so 26th of this May evening. So back-to-back cyclonic situation coming out. The earlier one, the topic was from the Arabian Sea. This one is coming on the Bay of Bengal area, which we generally, Bay of Bengal is the place where most of the cyclones do come. But this is a back-to-back cyclone that is expected. Though it is still early days, modality is that the different models that the IMD is currently going on, they are saying that as of now, it's only 25% chances of this particular low pressure developing into a cyclone. But they will be able to give us more information in the next few days as the as 527. The IMD has a 5+27 model, and once this particular cyclonic or low pressure area will come further, they will be able to exactly predict the intensity, or for that matter, whether or not this will become a proper cyclone, and its path will be determined after that. So that's another part that we are tracking. The other important thing that the IMD said, that it is expected that by 21st of this month, the southwest monsoon is likely to advance towards South Andaman Sea. So that is another great news coming in for all those people who are looking forward to the southwest monsoon for agricultural production, because agriculture is the in India, agriculture sector the farm sector depends upon almost 60% of that through the southwest monsoon. So that's a great news that it's keeping up with the date that has been earlier given by the IMD. Munmun.
Right, Tapas, has any forecast been made by the IMD for squally winds for any state and any advisory for the fishermen? Can they resume their fishing operations?
Well, fishermen, I think in a couple of days they will be able to go out in the sea. But squally wind is not expected in Delhi, NCR, or for that matter, even in the other part of the North India. It is the rainfall activity. We've been told that close to almost 30-40 degree speed of wind will be going on in the national capital around the place, which is not much, which one expects, which generates with a heavy shower like that is currently going on. The point that the IMD was saying that in few places in Delhi, NCR, along with Punjab, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, one can see heavy to very heavy rainfall activity. So that is something that the administration will be keeping a close eye on, especially in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, where we have seen that heavy rainfall activity has led to other natural calamities, like where most of the time there is a landslide activity that takes place. So administration is keeping a close watch on that, and that's one of the reasons why alert has been given, orange alert has been given out in the hilly areas. Munmun.
Thanks, Tapas, for those updates. Let's move on now to National Prime. Singapore's government has refuted claims of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, terming a prevalent strain of COVID in Singapore as Singapore variant that is dangerous for children, and asking the Indian government to suspend air services with Singapore. In a tweet, spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs Arindam Bagchi stated that the Indian High Commissioner in Singapore was called in by the Singapore government today to convey strong objection to Delhi Chief Minister's tweet. He tweeted, Singapore government called in a High Commissioner today to convey strong objection to Delhi CM's tweet on Singapore variant. High Commissioner clarified that Delhi Chief Minister had no competence to pronounce on COVID variants or civil aviation policy. The External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar also tweeted that Singapore and India have been solid partners in the fight against COVID-19. In a tweet, he said that Singapore and India have been solid partners in the fight against COVID-19, appreciate Singapore's role as a logistics hub and oxygen supplier. The gesture of deploying military aircraft to help us speaks of our exceptional relationship. Earlier, Foreign Minister of Singapore, Vivian Balakrishnan, tweeted on Delhi CM's remark that politicians should stick to facts. There is no Singapore variant. COVID-19 vaccination drive in the country is progressing at a fast pace. As per the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, over 18 crore 58 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far. On day 123 on 18th of May, over more than 13 lakh 12,000 vaccine doses were administered in the 18 to 44 year age group. More than 64 lakh beneficiaries received the first dose of the vaccine in that group so far. India continues to put up a strong fight against COVID-19. The country continues to mass-scale COVID-19 testing drive. As per the Indian Council of Medical Research, over 20,08,000 samples were tested on the 18th of May, taking the cumulative total to 32,03,01,177. The determined efforts led by the government are seeing results. India's daily recoveries outnumber daily new cases for the 6th consecutive day. 3,89,851 recoveries were registered in the last 24 hours. India's cumulative recoveries have reached 2,19,86,363 today, while the national recovery rate has grown further to touch 86.23%. Continuing the positive trend, India records less than 3 lakh new cases for 3 consecutive days. 2,67,334 new cases were registered in the last 24 hours. On the other front, India's total active caseload has decreased to 32,26,719. Today, a net decline of 1,27,046 is witnessed in the last 24 hours. It now comprises 12.66% of the country's total positive cases. Amid the ongoing COVID-19 crisis, the Agartala Municipal Corporation came up with a unique initiative to spread awareness on COVID-19. The administration used graffiti for the same. The initiative was taken as part of the city's beautification project. The city was painted with beautiful and educative graffiti to garner attention of the passers-by. Various themes including women's empowerment, environmental conservation, eve-teasing, social discrimination and spiritual themes were painted. That's it then in this edition of Midday Prime. Do remember to keep your masks on whenever you venture out of your homes or even indoors if there are people around. Thanks for watching.
As the day unfolds and news and events take shape,